basketball team. The coach is Don Smith. It's his third year as the head coach at UNO. He graduated from Indiana State, coached high school basketball in Indiana, then he spent 2 years as an assistant coach at Georgia Southern. Smith was an associate coach to Ron Green, then Butch Van Brendekoff, before being named the head coach at UNO. His first season, the team went 5-21. Last year, 13-14. And this year, UNO is off to a very good start.
We're basically the same team as last year, so we should be a little bit better. Plus, we have Muff Butler, our point guard, who did not play last year, who has made a big difference. And I think also that, you know, we've just matured a little bit. Although we're still a young club, we're starting basically all juniors and freshmen, start playing one senior, and that is basically it. So I think a little bit of maturity, and with Muff Butler, and then I think we've worked a little bit harder on defense this year to make us a little better ball club.
Another reason this club is better this year is because the players have a more thorough understanding of the Don Smith system. When you watch the UNO offense tonight, you are going to see players going in every direction. Lots of movement. Don't bother trying to figure out the pattern of this offense. The players are just looking for a good shot. Smith says players have a lot of freedom in this offense. He has one request: that the player that takes the shot takes a 60% shot. That is, a shot within the player's range.
It's a motion or a passing game, which not a lot, but quite a few schools are using. And it's a variation of this. And what you do is you teach players a few skills. Basic skills is what I call it, just give and go and screening and learning to use screens. And then you sort of turn them loose. And a lot of coaches don't like it, and it was tough to me to go to this passing game, because before, when you X and O, you know exactly where your players are going. And in this type of an offense, you really don't know where they're going, so you lose a little bit of control. And I was a little leery when we changed, but I'm very happy with it, and I think it's great for basketball. I think anyone learning the game of basketball as they grow up, especially young kids, if you can get them to use the motion or passing game, what you're doing is you're just teaching good, basic man-to-man basketball and good fundamentals, and they become better basketball players, not robots in an offense going to dotted lines and cutting when they're supposed to. So I like it. Well, they have to be good passers, and they have to also be fairly smart. You have to not, after you get playing, you have to learn how to set screens, and then you have to learn how to read the defense. And in this offense, you never know what you're going to do until you see what the defense is going to do, and then you react, and we take what the defense gives us. So you have to be pretty smart to be able to play this.
Don Smith has 3 assistant coaches. 2 of them, Jim Smith and Harold Merritt, are responsible for coordinating the UNO defense. Now, as much as the UNO fans love to see Mark Pettaway and Oscar Taylor, Wade Blundell, and the others put that ball in the hole, the UNO coaches get excited when the UNO players block a shot, or they get a rebound, or steal the ball. And UNO will play aggressive defense. Nothing fancy, not much zone, not much full court pressure, just basic defense. That's the way Don Smith likes it.
I feel that most games are won defensively, and I did not think we were an exceptional defensive team last year. We don't have the great talent that most schools have, so we have to play the great defense, I think. And a lot of times your offense is off, the ball doesn't go in the basket, and when that happens, your defense is going to have to carry you. And for that reason, we've put an awful lot of time in preseason, working on our defense, and that's what we have to do to beat good basketball teams. You have to play good defense. We are basically a man-to-man team, and we'll use man-to-man in different ways. We'll apply pressure sometimes, and sometimes allow teams to get the ball, and sometimes not. So we've played very little zone defense this year.
If you had to pick one player on the UNO team and say, this guy is the main man for UNO, well, that man would have to be Mark Pettaway. Pettaway is a junior, 6'8". He weighs 200 pounds. Right now, Mark is averaging 17 points and 11 rebounds a game. He's blocked more than a dozen shots this year. Pettaway was born in Canada, but he grew up in New Orleans. He went to Brother Martin High School. But the coaches at Brother Martin didn't realize Mark could play till he was a junior.
I didn't start playing high school ball, playing basketball period, till I was in the 9th grade. And like Coach said, I played a class behind. When I was a junior, I was playing on junior varsity and varsity, dressing out for both games. And by the time I was a senior, I was playing just varsity ball, and it helped me out. And like when I came out of high school, I was playing center. I was 6'6", 175, and I decided that wasn't enough. That wasn't big enough to play center in college, and I need to play the forward spot. So I went to junior college, and I worked there at junior college. They moved me to a forward, and I worked with my game there, and I developed a lot out there. And then now I'm able to play forward or in the post with my size, and I think it's an advantage because I'm not as tall, but I'm quicker than most other big fellas.
Well, when he played for me, he had to play the inside with his back to the basket. And here at UNO, he's playing a forward position. And he's learned to play with his face to the goal. He always can handle the ball well for a big kid, so making a transition wasn't that difficult for him. But being able to play with his face to the basket, I think, was a big improvement in Mark.
He's an outstanding basketball player. He has great tools. He has good size. Potentially, of all the players on our team, he's not there yet. He's getting better all the time, but he's just an outstanding basketball player, getting better every day. He has maybe a chance to be drafted and play some pro ball. I don't know. You never know, but he has talent-wise, he has it, and potential-wise, he has. He's an excellent basketball player.
I mentioned earlier that Mark is a junior at UNO, so he has plenty of time to think about what he wants to do after college. We asked Johnny Vetrano, his high school coach, about the situation. After all, Vetrano had a lot to do with getting Mark to go to UNO. What about the pros?
Yes, he's got the frame to add weight to it, to get much stronger. He's got the shooting ability and the jumping ability to play with the people. His quickness and his ball handling is good enough to play pro. It's just a matter of staying healthy, getting stronger, and being able to play that continuous pace that they play in the NBA.
Don Smith has one former UNO player in the NBA. That's Wayne Cooper. He's playing for the Dallas Mavericks. Smith thinks that Pettaway can get to the pros if Mark wants to work.
He doesn't play defense the way I want to play. None of them do right now, and of course that's asking a lot because we want perfection on defense, and very few players today like to play defense. But he plays good enough defense to play in the pros because they don't play much there anyway. But we're still trying to get him, and also he still's a little bit wild sometimes, and we try to have him slow up. And but he is a good defensive player.
Mark spends most of his time thinking about school, thinking about the next game, and thinking about the next big man he's going up against. We asked him about his tentative plans after a senior season.
Well, I'm going to try and get a job, something. I'm a communications major, I would like to get a shot to play pro basketball, but, I'm not going to rely on that. If I don't get that chance, well, I'll just get a job, I'll be satisfied.
Pettaway has one regret. Says he wishes he could be a year younger. Says he'd love to play one season with the UNO team in that new event center. But he'll be gone when the 1983 team goes out on the new court. Pettaway's memories of UNO basketball will be of the games in the chamber. And this year, the Privateers have been tough to beat in that noisy gym. They won 5 straight till USL beat them on a shot in the final seconds. In fact, most of the UNO losses this season have been very close games. Let's take a look at that schedule. UNO started by beating a couple teams on the home floor. Then they went to Lafayette and beat the Ragin' Cajuns 70-65. Then a win against Southeastern. Then to California, face a team that UNO beat in New Orleans, U.S. International. This time U.S. International won 56-53. Don Smith felt his players might have been looking ahead to a game a couple nights later against the San Francisco Dons. UNO lost to San Francisco too, but took the Dons to overtime. It was Quentin Daly making the big basket for the win. UNO record dropped to 4-2 at that point. Then 2 more away games in Florida. And it was the Hatter Classic. They beat Centenary by coming on strong in the final minutes, then lost to Stetson, lost by 1 point. Back home for wins against Oklahoma State and Baptist, then the loss to USL and the loss to Southern Miss. Overall, it's been a good season for UNO, and a win tonight would be sweet. Last year when UNO played Tulane, the team split. UNO won the first game 77-70. Tulane won later in the season. That score was 82-69. Both teams are playing well this year. This could be an excellent game tonight. Here's what Don Smith expects.
It's going to be about the same as we have all year. Most of the teams we play are bigger and more physical than us, and this is going to be the case with Tulane, and they have some great talent. Thompson is as good a player there is in America, and the Williams kid is a high school All-American and a great player, and and they have good perimeter players to go around with him. So, you know, they've always had great talent, and they just haven't always played real well. We're not going to do anything differently. We're going to go out and run whatever they're in defensively. We'll try to take advantage of it with our offense, and defensively, as I said, basically we're a man-to-man team, and we'll go out and try to bother them with our man-to-man, and may zone some, but we just haven't played much zone this year.
UNO will probably go with Mark Petaway and Oscar Taylor underneath. James Edwards will play, so will Lester Beans. He's good on the defense. Wade Blundell will start. Muff Butler, of course, is going to be starting, but Beetle Washington will probably get a lot of playing time. He'll spell Muff Butler. We'll also see a little bit of Sherman Scott. He's 6'8", and he'll play even more if one of the other guys gets in some foul trouble. David Walker could see some action tonight, too. To sum up, we expect to see UNO move the ball quickly on the offense. They'll fast break when possible. Now, when the team must set up to run that motion offense, they'll keep the ball moving till someone gets what Don Smith calls the 60% shot. On defense, UNO plays man-to-man most of the time. Now let's meet the players on the University of New Orleans Privateers basketball team. Number 44, Andrew Corbin, the senior guard from Washington. Number 24 is Mike Edwards, a 6'5 senior from New York. Number 50, Iron Mike Kostelitz, a 6'7 senior from Pittsburgh. Number 15 is Jim Pittman. He's a senior from Jefferson, Louisiana. Number 52 is Sherman Scott, a 6'8 senior from New Orleans. Number 30 is Lester Beans, the 6'5 junior from Jacksonville, Florida. Wade Blundell is number 34, a 6'6 junior guard from Metairie. Number 14 is Muff Butler, the 6'1 junior guard from New York. Number 40, Mark Petaway, 6'8, a junior forward from New Orleans. Number 33 is Oscar Taylor, 6'7". He's from Florida. Number 25 is David Walker, 6'8 junior. He is from Florida. Number 55 is John Harris. He's a 6'8 freshman. He is 250 pounds. He's from Brooklyn. Look out. And number 10 is Beetle Washington. He's a 5'9 freshman guard, and he is from Brooklyn, New York.